So let's break down this Bel Air series. And let me ask you something real. How many people do you know who almost lost their entire future trying to prove something to somebody who wasn't going to be around for them anyways? That's not just Bel Air, that's real life. What's good, y'all? I am Vaughn Frazier, creative brand strategist, storyteller, and writer. And this is episode 1 of my Bel Air breakdown series. 1 episode a week, no rushing it. Just pulling out the lessons, the choices, and the meaning behind the story. So let's talk about the pilot. Yo, the first thing that Bel Air basically does perfectly is it opens up with Philadelphia Freeway, What We Do. That's not just background music, it's a freaking anthem. You got Freeway, Beanie Siegel, and Jay-Z on the track. If you from the hood, I know you feel me. That was my jam. And that's Philly. And the song is basically saying this is who I am, it's my rhythm, it's my world. So when Will leaves Philly, he's not just leaving a city. He's leaving behind the only version of himself that's ever worked, or at least what he thought worked. But we gotta pause and pay respect real quick because Ice Tray shows up, Will's day one friend. And in the original Fresh Prince, Don Cheadle played Ice Tray back in the day. That's intentional. Different tone, same warning. Ice Tray is always the reminder of who Will could have stayed if he never left. Now the basketball game. Will gets challenged, and he tries to talk some sense into him. Yo, your scholarships, your future, your opportunities. And Will's like, man, that don't mean nothing if I don't get respect from my hood. That's a young man letting today's pride bully tomorrow's promise. Not because he's dumb, but he's immature and he's human. And that's how people trade decades of opportunity for 10 minutes of validation. And Trey brings the gun, not to flash it, but like, yo, we in the hood, we need protection. That's real. That's the environment they live in. But once that gun shows up, the rules change. There's no rewind button. There's no second chances. One moment and Will's entire life flips. Remember on his sitcom, Will had gotten into a little fight, dude spun him over his head, and his mom was like, okay, I'm gonna send you out to Bel Air. That was comedy. But this some real ish right here. And then comes the car ride. Will's quiet and ashamed. And yo, this almost broke me when he said, I'm sorry, mama, as he's crying. And she hits him with one of the coldest and realest lines in the episode, where she told him, your crown is waiting for you once you find the courage to wear it. She's not saying he's not enough. She's saying you can't become what you're meant to be if you stay where it's killing you. So sending Will away to his uncle and aunt, it wasn't rejection, it was survival. She said, you can't flash a gun on old boy and expect there not to be consequences. I gotta get you up out of here. A loving mother. And when Will lands in LA, the first person he meets, Jazz, basically an Uber driver. Not at a pool hall, not at the club, same spirit, different era. And Jazz tells him something simple but heavy. Yo, this town will turn on you. Don't let it make you forget who you are. And that's the real threat of Bel Air. It's not the money or the mansions or the cars. It's losing yourself trying to fit the image. And then we got Uncle Phil. Right away, he sets the boundaries. He's kind but firm. He's welcoming but clear. And when he calls Will his son, Will snaps back like, yo, you're not my father. And Phil responds with something even heavier. Do you care if you even live or die? Because I do. And look, that's not control, it's responsibility. And it sets up a tension that's gonna echo the entire series. Love versus pride. Wisdom versus foolishness. And in this episode, we also get a quick glimpse of Aunt Viv and Hillary. And it's subtle, but it's there. See, Viv is discipline, structure, legacy. Hillary is image, expression, and approval. And the tension is quiet now, but it's gonna get louder as the show progresses. And then we got that boy Carlton. Different upbringing from Will. Different survival strategy. White classmates dropping the N-word, and Carlton is dancing with him, letting it slide. And Will's like, nah. He calls Carlton a sucker. And here's the truth. Carlton isn't necessarily a villain. Well, maybe, kinda, but you get my point. He's the mirror. He's what happens when you learn to survive by shrinking parts of yourself. This is why we see his addiction later in the episode. That clash was inevitable. And the pool scene at the end, to end the episode, it says everything without over-explaining. See, Will can't swim, and Carlton pushes him in anyway. And when Will goes in the water, we see the crown slipping away, and the throne is going further and further away from Will as his life slips away. And that's the show saying, if you don't learn who you are in this new world, you'll drown trying to survive in it. And Carlton is hallucinating due to his addiction, and from his perspective, he sees Will and Lisa kissing, though we find out wasn't so. That's insecurity writing its own story, its own narrative. And how does the episode end? Will throwing punches again, just like in Philly. Same reaction, different place. Because changing locations doesn't automatically change habits. As one quote says, wherever you go, there you are. You see, growth takes time. And this is where branding comes in. Because in branding, just like life, if you don't decide who you are, the environment will decide for you. Or the algorithm, the music, image, choices, they all tell a story. And the question is, are you telling it on purpose or reacting in the moment? You see, this pilot isn't about wealth. It's about identity under pressure. And this series is about unpacking that, one episode at a time. Listen, if this hits, follow me, share it, hit the like button, drop a comment, nostalgia below. More episodes on the way. I am Vaughn Frazier. Peace.